I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're going to talk about the Federal Reserve helps you and hurts you. Here's how to win. That's on their docket tonight. And please stay tuned. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream where members only can be in the chat room. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody can watch, but only members can be in the chat room this evening. And welcome. Stop struggling now. Gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. And we had the intro, outro. Well, anyhow, we have a lot of serious business to discuss because on Wealthy Wednesday night live stream, hey, we have to talk about what's going to happen in the future and how you can plan for it. But one thing that you can plan for is if you are a coffee drinker or a tea drinker, then maybe you should consider Beachfront Java. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I already put it in the chat room. The reason why you might want to consider it is because our own Professor Auntie Val and family has started the coffee business, Beachfront Java. And it's one of the number one products in the world is coffee. So go show some love. And in the meantime, how would you like to get 10% off for life? Well, the first step is you have to place your first order. Then you have to let them know you're from the SSN Lifestyle, SSN Nation family. Send an email, put it in the promo code, whatever you have to do, because after your first order, you get 10% for every reorder for life. And free shipping in the United States also helps. And whole beans, premium blend, Honduras, Peru, Indonesia, Africa, and other areas where they are premium beans that are located. She has those. And fine ground, drip ground. And if you have a Keurig, you have no excuses. They have Keurig. Now, end of the year, expect tea to come into play. Once again, tea, coffee, can't lose. Show some love. Go over there, beachfrontjava.com. It's in the chat room. And in case you can't get in the chat room tonight, as I mentioned on the intro, only members with the icon can be in the chat room tonight, just like our own Professor Auntie Val here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream with the icon next to her name. And she brings her tagline this evening. Good evening, fam. With the heart, with the strength and support, and with a cup of Beachfront Java. How apropos. And she says, got the notification. Very well. Awesome to hear. Thank you so much. Very happy to see that you're in the house. And we have Jaway J here, another investor, another entrepreneur. He's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream where it's members only like yourself that can be in the chat room. Everybody else can watch. But here's his tagline. Hello, SSN Nation. Hope everyone is doing well. Received the notification and saw the trailer. That's 2 people. It looks like we're well on our way to break the record for tonight already. Auntie Val shows the heart with the Beachfront Java. No problemo. Victor Marrero is in the house, another entrepreneur and about to retire soon to take advantage and enjoy his entrepreneurship over the years. He brings in his tagline and welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream with the icon next to his name. And his tagline reads, "Hello, all. Let's do this." That's what we do here, ladies and gentlemen. It can be easy for a lot of people. Sure, there's all these people out here talking about buy my course, buy my book. I can do this for you if you pay me a fee. Ladies and gentlemen, you can do it yourself. Welcome to the SSN Nation, the No Guru Zone. You just have to ask questions. You just have to watch the videos or share the videos, because you never know, there's information that can help other people. It's not rocket science out of here. If you know what the wealthy people do, then why wouldn't you just do it? That is the shortcut. All right. Thank you for being in the house, Victor Marrero. Once again, Laverne Penix is here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream with the icon. And his name in this YouTube street is also Mr. Cool is here. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. I received a notification and trailer. That is 4 people so far in the YouTube street here. I appreciate that, Laverne Penix, aka Mr. Cool, for being in the house. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have here? We have to start looking at, first of all, I've been talking about this for the last year, how the Federal Reserve can help you, how the Federal Reserve hurts you. If you know what the Federal Reserve does, you can make decisions to help you easily. And I'll give you a perfect example now. In fact, right before this live stream, I was talking with a friend I went to high school with, and he bought a house 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And I was actually telling him, hey, you know, I got this live stream. I'll be talking about how the Federal Reserve helps you. I said, you bought right when your interest rate was what? 2 point what? He goes, oh, it's 2.95. He also bought a house that was worth around 450, 500,000. And it was almost pre-construction. So that house right now, the subdivision has been built, the house has been built, and now the house is worth in the 700s in less than 2 years. Now, how the Federal Reserve helped him is just how they helped thousands of other people when they reduced the interest rates. And when that 2 years, when they got 20% annually appreciation, that helped him go from around 450 to 500 to a 700 and something is what the homes are selling for in his neighborhood. Now, here's the beauty of why the Federal Reserve helped him is because his asset and equity appreciation that he has, he gets to keep it. The homes are still selling in the neighborhood for 700 and some thousand, even though the Federal Reserve has increased interest rates, where a mortgage is going to cost somebody near 7 to 8%. So here's the question that you need to understand. What's going to happen when the Federal Reserve reduces the interest rates? Bingo, you already know. Home prices are going to rise. So now he benefits even more, because not only did he buy a house for $450,500 and has an interest rate, I believe, again, it was 2.95%. The home price is going to increase in value, because now, as interest rates drop, the Federal Reserve does that. Then people are going to spend $800, $900, $800. You don't know what the sky is going to be at that point. And if it ever gets back down to 2.9, then you know prices are going to be, that same house is going to be priced at over $1 million. And that means they helped you. Some of you may be saying they're hurting me right now. Well, actually, when it comes to the homes, it's not hurting you. So if you were savvy enough to say, you know what, I'm going to go to 7.3% interest rate right now, and that's what you have, just make sure on the back side that you have no penalty for paying off your loan early or refinance penalties. That's what you need to negotiate up front. Because when they reduce the interest rates and they get down to 4% or 3.5%, you're going to refi your house and get your mortgage rate down. You don't want to refi, and if you're going to refi and take out some money, then you're going to take that money out and buy an asset that pays you. You're going to buy an asset that pays you at that point. You'll have the $200,000. Now you can go buy yourself a threeplex, a duplex, or whatever, and have some passive income coming in as a landlord. All right. You don't have to get greedy. Why not do what the big boys do? All right. We've talked about this several times. You guys know how it goes. All right. Jaway J, he's in the house. He says, yes, Eric, the feds hurt you because their decisions influence banks and other lenders set interest rates. Exactly. That is one of the ways that they do hurt you. And I'm glad you brought that up because that was on the list that a lot of people don't realize. When you're out here saying, hey, the Federal Reserve doesn't matter what they do, it matters. You have credit cards. Most people do. Your credit card rate goes up. Your interest rate goes up. And they're already high enough because usually they go by the LIBOR rate. Then they say, well, we're just going to add prime plus 2%, 1%, 0.25. It doesn't matter. You're already paying 20 something percent. And then all of a sudden the Feds increased the interest rate a half a point. All of a sudden, next thing you know, your 22% interest rate is 24% interest rate because both rates rose. So you don't understand the significance of this. That's why you need to reduce your debt as soon as possible. All right. Unless your debt has 0% interest, you need to reduce it. That's how the Federal Reserve hurts you. That's one of the ways. So thank you for bringing that up, Jaway J, because again, banks and the offset of what we're talking about here, when the Federal Reserve has increased their interest rates, some of you may notice at the bank, they're giving away 4% interest for savings in some CDs, 5% in some instances, 5.4% in others, 6% in other interests. And that's why the instance that they keep raising gives you a higher savings amount, which again, if inflation is 6%, then it kind of doesn't matter, but it's still better than 1% or 0.5% that it was like a year ago. So again, the hurt and the help at the same time, but it depends on what you're looking for. So this is why the Federal Reserve helps you in one aspect, but then it takes away in a different aspect. So all you have to do is figure out which side of the fence is better for you. It's not that hard to figure out. Not having debt should be part of the equation. Having assets should be the second part of the equation because your assets will go up in value and you win all day long. So when we start talking about, a lot of people talk about real estate when real estate's hot, right? When prices are skyrocketing seemingly every month, then people all want in. If home prices start to drop, like, I mean, they've dropped a little bit, but not like they should have. They should be at 40, 50, 60%. Like I've said, they should have dropped significantly, but they still haven't. So what's the Federal Reserve going to do this month? They're going to stand pat and make this like 1970s all over again, where there's going to be inflation for the next 5 years? Or are they going to actually increase the interest rate like they should? We're going to find out. It's a damn shame if they don't, but I hope they do, because then everybody wins, because home prices will drop. People will stop borrowing. That makes you a better person financially. So that's what we want to do here. That's what we teach here. That's what we tell people to do here. And it's Federal Reserve helps you and hurts you tonight. How do you win? This is how you win. You buy the asset that you know is going to go up based on what they're going to do. So we know they're going to either increase or reduce, but you have to think a year or two ahead. You know, next year they're going to be reducing the interest rate, which means if you're holding real estate, prices are going to go up. We went over this several times over the last year. That's standard issue. So you should be going, I need to be part of this real estate bonanza. Whether you might say, I don't want to buy a house. I don't want to buy a duplex. Okay, maybe you're going to be in the mortgage business. Maybe you're going to be a realtor. All of those industries are going to be affected when more people are buying. This is how the Federal Reserve helps you. You just have to say, okay, maybe I should study to be a realtor now for 5-6 months. Maybe I should start checking some other things out. How do I become a loan originator or something? Mortgage loan originator. How do I do that? Or maybe I want to be an assessor, because all this boom, the business is going to go to somebody. Why not position yourself to be in that business? Doesn't that make more sense? You want to be an investor? Maybe you want to be an investor. Maybe you have money sitting around where you can give people some loans that they can't get otherwise, because not everybody's going to have good credit to be able to take advantage of lower interest rates. So you can piggyback and say, okay, fine. You can't get a 7. You have to get a 7% when the going rate's 5%. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll do this deal for you, but it'll be a deal for you to win and make some money in the short term. It's always an opportunity. You just have to think about it. That's why this is also called the Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. Don't just keep yourself in a box, ladies and gentlemen. The Federal Reserve works for you. Now, the hard parts, if you want to start a business, Federal Reserve doesn't help you with that generally, because all their tools really are is increasing interest rates, reducing interest rates. They can talk all this other crap they want to talk about, but them printing money actually hurts you, right? You guys have to understand that. So that means you always have to make more money. And if you have to make more money, you know what happens. Next, inflation kicks in. And like it happens now, there's no way around it. You can't escape, no matter where you live. Yahweh J says higher rates translates to more expensive borrowing. Exactly. And that also translates into the United States themselves having to borrow more money. Government has to pay a higher rate, which is not good for us. All right. That hurts us immensely because that reduces our currency buying power. James Way, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream with the icon next to his name. And he says his tagline this evening: hello, all. Got notifications. Excellent. That's 5 people. I will listen closely to the show because the rent is too damn high. He's got that right. And I keep mentioning all of these things I'm mentioning tonight several times on live streams. If you know millennials, those born, I think, in the last like 20, 23, 25 years, they, on a survey, have been resigned to living rent to rent. They're not even thinking about owning. You know what's very interesting about this is they are watching, because they're young, they're watching what's happening. They're sitting there hearing all the stories, all the devastation. They're sitting there listening to people getting laid off. Like, again, Yellow, right? Yellow Freight says 30,000 people, bye-bye. Those people had nice paying jobs, more than likely had a nice home, comfortable. And next thing you know, they have a 20-year, 15-year, 10-year mortgage left. They have no money coming in. Their pension's going to be wiped out probably. Now they have nothing coming in, but yet they have a comfortable home where they owe $2,000 or $3,000 per month. And they can't do anything other than try to sell their house now. And if you sell your house now, where are you going to live? Because the rent, like James Way says, is too damn high. So they're resigned to the fact that they're not going to go out on a limb like that. They're saying to themselves, you know what? Even if I do have to rent too damn much, too damn high, it's worth it to me than to put down 10, 20%, lose 5, 6, 8, 10 years worth of payments when I could just pay, okay, fine, I'll give you $9,000 to move in. I'll pay $2,500 per month. I'll have 1, 2, 3 roommates, whatever the case may be. This is our lifestyle. No problem. But I'm not going to put myself in a situation where if I got fired, then I'm done. Pretty much with my credit getting whacked, all kind of problems. They're just saying, well, if I get fired, at least I live with roommates. At least I don't shoulder the whole burdens. At least I can find a job, hopefully in 2 or 3 or 4 months. Plus, I should be able to save money because I'm not spending the upkeep of where we have to live like you would if you own a home. So all of this comes into play. So they're just resigned. Okay, we don't have to own a home. We are hearing about the insurance problems. We're hearing about the property tax problems. We're hearing about the amount of maintenance that a home actually requires after it gets, the older it gets. We can't afford a new home, so we're going to have to buy one of these older homes in the first place. All of these pitfalls, the kids are smarter. They know how much it costs to take kids. If you're planning on having a child, how much daycare costs now. They know all of this. They're not blind like it was in the 1970s or 60s or even 80s, where there was no internet, no communications, that you couldn't delve into other people's lives and see what's going on. They are not like previous generations who just towed the line. Go to college, get a job, everything will be fine. Don't worry. Home prices are so low, you'll be able to afford it comfortably, no problems. Well, that all blew up in the last 30 years. This is a new era, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's see what else we have here. If you guys want to make any comments, please make them down below in the chat room. That would be good to hear. If you can't make comments, that means you're not a member of the channel. And a member of the channel means you have an icon next to your name. That also means you're more than just a subscriber. So that's the only way you can be on our Wednesday night live stream, in the chat room. Otherwise, you have to watch. Now, on Monday and Friday nights, you and everybody can be in the chat room. Now, let's get into some other matters. On Monday night, we talked about a red laser that apparently can help people. Friday night, we're going to delve into that, so don't miss the 9-10 p.m. Friday night live stream. This is business, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about some, well, I wouldn't call it new, but what I will call it is somebody has done their homework and they are actually doing a health product that actually, if it is true what it does, it would work. It's not like this is some newfangled thing like tinfoil hat stuff. This is actually true. There's a magnetic system around the world, the earth itself in the core, and there's something to it that you as a human being and all animals actually are grounded to it. We're all electricity inside. So you actually, if you were in tune with Mother Nature, you'd be, your body, mind, and soul would be better off. But because of today's environment, where there's so much sounds and so many different toxins and things like that, you don't understand what your body's going through because you just feel a certain way and you think that's normal. So we're going to find out on Friday. We're going to talk about it. So don't miss it, ladies and gentlemen, because again, the Federal Reserve doesn't have anything to do with this opportunity, but you might want to find out, because this could be a business that you can start and it's worldwide potential. So we're going to find out. And our seamless genius, Vanessa Comingate, is going to be the one that's going to be talking about it as well. I'm going to have some videos that I can show you. So don't miss that one on Friday night, because that's what we do here. We try to get more money in your pocket the right way. All right. None of this guessing stuff. We tried the crypto stuff. I have to admit, over the last 2.5, 3 years, we've had crypto projects. It's about a 100% failure rate. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it is 100% failure rate. Give us your money. This is what we're going to do with the project. Then they string you along. Next thing you know, it just crashes and burns or starts going down where you can't make any money from it or anything. So those days are over. We have to go back with starting your own businesses, going back with you control your own destiny kind of thing, because that's what's going to be needed in this next 7-8 years when it's the roaring 20s. Because after the roaring 20s, you guys know what happens next. The Great Depression happens next. All right. It's going to be a similar playbook. We're just hoping the roaring 20s happens first before the depression part happens. But with banking institutions in disarray, with our government seemingly in disarray, with our trillions of dollars of debt and the devaluing of our currency every day, it doesn't look good for the roaring 20s to even happen. But we know how the roaring 20s can happen. The Federal Reserve is going to help you, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to reduce the interest rates. That's what they're going to do. And that triggers everything. More borrowing. Borrowing means I can buy assets. Assets mean I can get myself paid from other people paying me. So now you have to start getting in the game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, not later. All right, here we go. Here's Yahweh J. He says, hey, Eric, he wants to talk about some real estate investing. We have no problem with that, because the Federal Reserve helps us with real estate. Don't think it's not. So you can actually buy a home right now. Yes, they're expensive. Yes, you're going to pay 7-8% interest, but never fear, you can refi. So what are we going to talk about, Yahweh J? He says, Eric, also talk a little about Macau Hills. Contract for anyone who has bought a unit. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. I was going to actually make a video about this because I don't have all of my talking points that I wanted. So I'm just going to go off the top of my head for starters. Okay. Macau Hills, Macau Gardens, Macau Hills, especially. I saw the contract. Thank you very much, Yahweh J. One of the things that was in the contract, and I should get some notes for this, was, first of all, HOA. $3 per square meter. That was one of the things that was in there. All right. So some people would say, now remember, they're going to be done 2026, 2027, when the cost of materials and the cost to operate is going to be way more than it is right now. So I'm not going to be mad at them to say $3 instead of the going rate right now of $2. An extra dollar per square foot, or per square foot or per square meter, that's not going to matter much. But there's one huge thing that's going to matter a lot. Now it's coming back to me because now I don't really need notes because this one right here was the big boy for me. So the units. So let's say you buy a 3-bedroom unit for $110,000 because, again, we're talking about the Federal Reserve helps you. You're buying pre-construction properties with 10% down. During construction, you are making monthly payments at 0% interest, so you don't have to worry about the Federal Reserve. But in 2026 and 2027, around the world, no matter where you get loans, are going to be lower. The interest rate's going to be lower than what they are in 2023, which helps you. 2 years out or 3 years out, you'll be having the premium, whether it's 3%, 2.7%, you'll be in that range for interest rates, which it gives you a win. All right. So that's how the Federal Reserve, again, helps you in this situation because you're not going to have your delivery like in the McCow Hills is 2026, 2027. If you're talking about Larimar, 2025 at the end, whoever has anything ending in 2024, their delivery date for real estate is 2024 and out 2025, 2026, because it's going to take them 2 to 3 years to unwind this interest rate now, unless they do something crazy, but it should take about 2 years. So anything after that, you win immensely. Not only will your property value have increased, you get to get a loan for a lower interest rate by 2 or 3 points. I mean, it could be 9% now, it could be 6% later. That's a huge difference. In other words, for every $100,000, we're talking about a $950 a month payment at 9.5% interest rate, or at a 6.5, we're talking about $650. So take your pick. You tell me which is better. I owe $100 or $100,000 and I need a loan. I'd rather pay $650 a month versus $950 a month. That's a huge difference. $3,600 a year annually just in interest rate. You still have the same payment amount. That's crazy when you think about it. So everybody's going to benefit from that. Now, with that point said, one of the things about McCow Hills is just that interest. This is major. And I'm going to have to preface this because I'm going to see what Jarway J has said here. He says, not sure if you know, Eric, I found out that the reservation fee that they always say is non-refundable is illegal in the DR. Yes, lawyers advise that you get a separate contract for the reservation fee. That is very true. A lot of people, again, I told you guys when I canceled my contracts, I got all my money back. And he's right. I thought people knew that, but he's right. They do say non-refundable. I forgot about that in some of these projects. Thank you for mentioning that, Jarway J. So I'll get back. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to get back to the big deal here. The big deal. I'm stretching this out a little bit, but the big deal is I'm going to keep stretching it because there's the project called The Beach. The Beach, their original contracts did not have any increase in price. And then their 2 year later contracts, they put in this thing about up to 25% they can charge the person based on inflation or based on anything really. And I said, hey, that is not good because they were up to $200,000 for selling of their condos. You start having $200,000 and somebody tells you on your contract, it says $200,000, but when you get delivery, they go, oh, you have 60 days to pay us, but we want 25% more. So that's $250,000. You have a contract that says 200. You go to the bank goes, yeah, you've paid 50% of this, 100,000, but we're only going to give you the contract, what the contract says. It says 200,000. So we're going to give you a loan for 100,000. And then you say, well, what about that extra 50,000 I owe? Yes, your property's worth 250,000, but we're not giving you a loan for that because this is what the contract says. You got to come out of pocket, possibly the extra 50. Those are some of the pitfalls. Well, Macau Beach, I mean, Macau Hills, they have something similar. And the reason I say it's something similar is they do a little different nuance in their contract. Here it is. Okay? 3% is the cutoff. So let's say you bought one of those $110,000 3-bedroom villas. 920 square feet is what they are. They're kind of small, but it's still a 3-bedroom, 2-bath or 2.5-bath villa for $110,000 is pretty good, right? But if inflation in the Dominican Republic is over 3% annually, that is, then whatever it is, so let's say it's 7%. The way the contract reads is that you would owe 7% more. They can charge you the 7% for that year. So here's the thing. You know, I'm Johnny on the spot about this kind of thing. I go and look up how much has the annual inflation been for the Dominican Republic. You don't want to know, because it's not just 7%, ladies and gentlemen, like this year so far. Last year, it was like 11. The year before that, it was like 11.5, 11.7, 12%, somewhere like that. I just can't remember the years. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So if this contract was in effect like last year, a person would have to pay 11% more. Now, remember, these contracts are 3 years from now. So the person would not only have to pay 11%, if it ends up being 7% this year, that's 18%. And then in 2024, if it goes up, let's say it drops to 5%, that's 23%. Delivery's not until 2026. What if the inflation is never under 3%? What if it's always over 3% for the next 3 years? You would have to pay 20-some percent on top. So that condo for 110 is going to cost you 135. Somewhere like that. It's crazy. I was like, the price is nice, but in that contract, my lawyer or me, myself, I'm going to be trying to negotiate this. I'm going to be like, look, man, you need to put a cap on this. 10% maybe. But this thing about whatever the inflation is, that nobody knows what it's going to be, and the Federal Reserve is not going to be helping me until maybe 2024, but I sign a contract now. So straight up, we're going to have 7.4, 7.5% interest. So I already owe 7.5% more probably this year. If I sign a contract this year, it's going to be above 3%. Next year, in case it goes down to 7%, that's still 14% is going to be added. And then if it's just 7% the next year, that's 21% on delivery, which means I'm going to owe 130, 135. I'm not just going to owe 110. My contract's going to say 110. Maybe the mortgage guys go, oh, okay, Eric, it appraised at 135, whatever. We'll get you a loan for the balance. But still, we don't know that. That's one of the pitfalls about what their contract says. So again, you need to have a lawyer like Johan Confidante, the preeminent lawyer, and have him, if you're going to buy there, well, either you got to negotiate that or have your lawyer, realtor, whoever you're using, have them negotiate it, because I don't like it, quite frankly. I don't know about you guys, but at Panorama Gardens, they had it in the contract. Okay, at Panorama Gardens, I don't remember them even having anything in the contract. So here's Johan Confidantes, the preeminent lawyer. Let him know you're from SSN Nation. I put it in the chat room. That's his WhatsApp number. If you're getting any of these things, yes, he's going to charge it. He's a look, okay, let's just call it what it is. Whenever you're one of the lawyers that everybody looks to get, your rate's going to go up. So don't think it's going to be $300 or $400, $500. All right. He does closing. So once you sign him up, you can have him do everything, your closing, your paperwork eventually, but you want him to negotiate. So in the case of Panorama Gardens, they had something in the contract or nothing in the contract as far as I remember. So when he did the contract for me, he put in there and negotiated with them, and they put a cap. He said, okay, Eric, are you okay with up to 10%? Well, I never even paid attention to it, really. I just said, yeah, whatever, because I don't even think they're going to raise it. He's like, well, you never know. So he put a cap. They signed it off and said, okay, up to 10%, you can increase the price or whatever. Well, lo and behold, last year, they sent out to everybody, all the owners at Gardens and Parks, saying 18%. So something you thought I would be buying for 124,000 ends up costing me like 135, 137,000. Yes, it's still a good deal. It beats the going rate of 170, 180, 190, or possibly 200,000 for the same type of unit. But the fact of the matter is 123, 124 is a lot better than 135 to 140. You just had to give up $12,000 to $15,000. That should have been equity in your pocket, right? So I was going to have to go, oh, I have the numbers wrong. I was going to have to go up to 135. Everybody else who doesn't have that clause, 18% on 120, you guys can start doing numbers. That's probably another 20. So that means they're going to be paying 143, 145, 20 G's more for sure. So now your contract says 122, 123. The bank right now is going to say, we're going to give you a loan for your 70,000 that you owe. And you're going to go, wait, I owe 95. And they're going to go, sorry, you got to come out of pocket the extra 20,000. That's crazy. So that's what's happening at Macau. That's one of the things. There's two things. That's one of the things. There's four things actually in their contracts. I don't have notes with me, but that's four things. The one is the $3 per square meters for HOA fee. The second was the big one, that 3% inflation rate. And I was like, this is crazy. And also in their contract, you have to be cognizant of something. You need to clarify what they're talking about, because the ICDV, which is the construction inflation rate, oh my God, 20%. So I don't even know which one they're using, because they can use both. The way their wording is, if you go by the Dominican Republic inflation rate, that's way lower than the construction inflation rate. So you need to clarify. And I hate to say it, you're getting the property so cheaply that even if it was the 25% increase, that would make it about right. And you're still going to win because the value of the property is going to even be higher. But the fact of the matter is, at least you know what you're dealing with versus a surprise like they did people at Christopher, when people thought they bought a two-bedroom condos for $50,000, and then Christopher on delivery goes, there's an inflation thing. We're going to charge you like 30% more. So you got to pay us $67,000. And that $67,000 penthouse unit that you thought you bought, it's $100,000 now. Right? So they actually had to go get lawyers and figure it out. They did settlements and they saved $4 or $5 grand, but nonetheless, people still had to pay like an additional 30%, 35%. It's insane. Their contract, though, had nothing in it. No information. Christopher at the time did not have any information saying they can increase your payment or increase the cost or decrease the cost. So that's why you have to pay attention on these contracts and make sure your contract has something in there. Like the only one that has something in there where you pay zero above is Larimar. They're the only ones that says in their contract, whatever you're buying it for, that's the price. So everybody else's contract has some clause in there about up to X amount or due to inflation, like Cruise on Land has this calculation thing going on that has to do with the ICDV. It's all different depending on the project. And if they don't say anything in there, then you might as well consider them like Christopher. All right. So I just wanted to say that's how you should do it. So another thing, I will say this though, it's a pretty good marketing tool. If I can tell you, hey, come on down, get a 1-bedroom condo, and it's going to be 50 grand. Come on down. But as long as you know I can charge you an extra 25%, okay, so I know if I buy it for 50, the worst case scenario is $7,500 more. Okay, maybe, that isn't bad. So 57.5, so my exposure could be 50,000 to 60,000. I'll live with it if it's 60,000. Okay, cool. And some people may say, well, I'm not going to live with it if it's 60,000 because I want to buy it for 50. Okay, then you can't buy there then. I mean, because the rate's going to go up. Inflation is going to be above 3%. Nowhere on the planet is inflation going to be under 3% over the next 2 years. And your delivery's in 3. So all it takes is 2 of those 7 7s and 10s, or 10 7 7, and next thing you know, you owe 25% more. So you don't want to owe 12,000 more. That'd be 62, right? In fact, I was off a little bit. It's going to end up being 62.5 or something like that. So that's what's in their contract. Also, number 3, Avalon Beach Club. Again, prices are right. When you can buy condos for 50 grand, that's right. When you can buy 2 bedrooms for, 70, 60 grand. I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean, that's cheap. But if it's cheap, there has to be another side of the coin. And in this case, at Macau Gardens and Macau Hills, it is. Now, Avalon Beach Club. In the contract, it specifically says the Avalon Beach Club is 600 meters from the beach. So I was like, 600 meters? That's over 600 yards. That's nowhere near a beach. So now I had our good friend Nestor Leffel. He's actually drove to where they're going to build the Avalon Beach Club, because that takes away the whole thing. If the beach club is 600 yards away from the beach, that's a ways. I don't even know the translation on what that is. Is that a quarter of a mile? Is that I know it's more than a tenth of a mile. Is it a half a mile? I don't know. 660 yards. That's literally what this ends up being. So that's like out to the highway, as far as I know, from the beach. So that's no fun. You might as well just go to somebody else's house. That's a quarter of a mile away from the beach. There's no difference in that. That's crazy. Avalon Beach Club means it should be near the beach. So that's one of my other little pet peeves. So we need clarification on that. And so Nestor, again, went out there allegedly today. He's going to give me back some pinpoint on where exactly this is. Let me see. He might have sent me back. No, hold on a second. Let me see. No, he didn't send me anything back. So anyhow, we'll be having, once I get that all together, I'm going to be making a video about it, because you guys know, even though I love great prices, even though I like when somebody says we'll build a 3-bedroom villa for, $100,000 and there'll be 920 square feet or 915 square feet. Okay. You know what you're paying for. It has a pool. It has a tennis court, paddle courts, nothing extravagant, but it's still a great price point, because you can always rent for $120 a night in a villa, and it's at Macau Beach area. You're cool, right? You'll be able to get that in 3 years, 4 years from now. That won't be a problem. So the price is right. It's just that I want people here to know what you're getting into versus listening to a realtor saying, hey, just sign, just sign. I mean, Nestor's not going to do that, because we're going to go through Nestor. But I just want you to know in advance, because maybe you're not going to be using our preferred realtors. Maybe you're looking at Macau Hills. You already have a friend, and your friend's going, oh, yeah, you should get it. And then you're reading through the contract and you're kind of ignoring these because you know the price. It's so good. Then you're like, wait a minute. Eric just talked about this could cost me an extra 20 grand or 30 grand. I don't see, and he's right. There it is right here in the contract. It actually says that. So I need this changed or something, if I can get it changed, if I want to buy here. So those are the kind of things that you have to think about. All right. So, and again, that beach club, if it's not by the beach club, then they should not even be calling the beach club, and they should let people know exactly where it's going to be. Because I dropped a 10-second video today, Avalon Beach Club rendering, then it appears that the beach is there in the neighborhood. Let's just put it that way. Whether they're 100 yards back or 150, it appeared that you could walk to the beach. 600 yards back, 650 yards back from the beach, that's a long way. That's a long way. That's not like I can just walk. I mean, you can walk to the beach from 600 yards, but again, that's not even close to the beach. That's not a beach club to me. All right. So again, you get what you pay for. Everything is less expensive. So therefore, I would not expect the Avalon Beach Club. That's one of my little red flags. I was like, How are we paying 110,000 for 3-bedroom villas, 50,000 to 70,000 for 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom condos, and they're going to give you a beach club at the beach? That's worth its weight in gold just by itself. Then I find out, oh no, it's not on the beach. Nestor's saying, in all fairness, he sent me back a message saying, hey, Eric, it's supposedly like 100 yards. I'm like, 100 yards is still a long way to me. 100 yards to 200 yards. I'm like, that's a long way too. That's not actually a beach club in my eyes. I don't call that a beach club. I call a beach club something that's at the beach. You like Pearl Beach Club, right? That's what we call those are beach clubs. The one that's next to Presidente, Endless Beach Club, or whatever that one's called. It's on the beach. I don't call beach clubs something that's even 50 or 100 yards away from the beach. You have to be on the beach in order to be called a beach club. You don't get to just walk back off the beach and then go down a beaten path a quarter of a mile later and then go, oh, this is our beach club. I'm like, we're nowhere near the beach. That's not a beach club. And in fact, I don't even need to look. Let me just get things for real, right? I don't even need a beach club to go to the beach. Let's get real. And in all fairness, so don't tell me there's a beach club and make it act like it's a big to-do when I can go to the beach without having a beach club, right? Especially at Macau, it doesn't cost to go to the beach anywhere in Punta Cana. So you can always go to the beach, and there's bars and restaurants right there on the beach. It's not like there's a big to-do about it, but it's always cool if you have your own beach club. It's private. You come down there, you have your pool, you have your cabanas, you have eating in a cafe place, a co-working spot, and you can just chill at the beach and hang out and just walk down there. It's not like open to the general public. It's only for owners. That's cool. Owners and owners' guests. That makes it kind of intimate and cool versus just a party atmosphere and everybody's there and you never know who's who and what's what. And it's kind of cool that way. So I want it to be by the beach. I don't want to hear a beach club I don't care if it's 200 yards away. That's not good enough. It needs to be less than 50 yards away. All right, let's just call it that. That's crazy. All right, let's go. Let's see. We have a lot more to talk about here. Jaway J. Let me know what you think about this, Jaway J. Let me know, because those are the 3 points. There's a fourth one, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Jaway J. And if you decide to not proceed, the builder should refund your reservation fee. That is correct. Well, like I said, I had no problem. Panorama Lake send me back all my money. They had no issues. So they weren't talking about we're going to hold the money or anything. But then again, I don't remember them saying that it was a non-refundable, but I think everybody pretty much says that. Jaway Che, and if you decide not to proceed, the builder should refund your reservation fee. Yes. In all fairness, at the beach, we had a member that was going to buy at the beach and then realized they had that 25% increase in price potential. He was like, he backed out. So they sent him back his reservation fee. And the beach is a whole nother thing, unfortunately. It's getting bad. Jaway J, the builder should hold back no more than 20%. It's one of those things. I mean, in all fairness, I'm not really mad about Macau. It's just that open-ended means if inflation is 10% in 2024, and inflation is also 10% in 2025, and then in 2026, it's 7%, and you have delivery in 2027, you're going to pay 27% more. Now, there's two sides of a coin, because the other side of the coin is you have to go, it's so cheap. So you're getting a discount up front, or you're going to pay late, or you're going to wait 3 years later when these things are going to be $200,000. See, that's the problem. So it's a minor inconvenience, and that's the difference. But then again, get your lawyer and see if you can cap it. 10%, cap it. 12.5, something. Just don't leave it open, is all I'm saying. You want to know what your exposure is. All right. There's Johan Confidante's number and information. If you need a lawyer in the Dominican Republic, contact him. He does all over. He does real estate. He does business. He does accounting. It's all in his office. Let him know you came from SSN Nation. And you can search the channel down below. In fact, I don't have this in, but if you're interested in residency for Dominican Republic. I'll put it in the description box down below because it's not that hard. You need to just show like $1,000, $1,500 per month coming in. You can get residency. And I have Johan's information. If you're buying a property, go over there and get it. You see him. All right. He'll take care of you. His staff take care of you. They'll handle your contract for you for the best interest of you. All right. Not all contracts are, but like I said, Larimar, if you're not familiar with Larimar, search the channel because you can still get a 1-bedroom for $94,000 at Larimar City and Resort. You can still get a 2-bedroom for, well, maybe 150, 140, but people cancel all the time. So you might be able to get one for 130, but there's only a limited number of units left in the prime towers. They're only, 700, and the 2 bedrooms are 790 square feet. 1 bedrooms are roughly 580 to 630, depends on where they're at. So those are still great prices. 2 bedrooms now are worth 180, 175, 180, 190, 200 now in most places. And now the beach that I mentioned earlier, there's a person that bought 3 units there cash. I just spoke with her today. She's trying to sell them for almost the same price as the builder. She said $200,000 for 2 of her 2 bedrooms, and she has a 5th floor unit, which is weird. I don't know what she means by 5th floor. There is no 5th floor as far as I know. But anyhow, she says she has a 5th floor unit. She's selling that one for $225,000. Okay, well, those are the going rates for 2-bedroom condos in nice, like the Vista Cana. That's what they're going for. Cruise on lands. That's what this is what's going for. So Larimar is going to be at 200,000. It's going to take them about another every 3 months. The price goes up 2.5%. So it's going to take 10. So it's going to take about another year because 4 quarters is another year. That'll be 10%. So at their going rate, unless they intervene and start charging per level, then they're not going to reach 200,000 price points until a year from now, which is good for you because the prices are still undervalued at this point, but they're not really undervalued per square foot. That's the thing you have to remember. 2,000 per square feet, anything under there is still a deal. 1,500, still a deal. Per square meter, 1,500 per square meter, 2,000 per square meter. A lot of projects are already over 2,000. Some are into the 3,000, which means a year from now, a lot are going to be in the 3,000 per square meter and 4,000 per square meter. So when somebody says that they're going to wait, see what happens, waiting in this instance is not going to help you. The Federal Reserve is going to help you, though, because you're locking in a price today, give or take, not take, give possibly 5 to 10 to 20% more, but the property is going to increase in value on the bull run. All right, let's see what else we have going on here, ladies and gentlemen, for this night. I'm not going to be on here too long, but there's Johan Confidante's information, so don't miss out on that. Okay, I shouldn't have clicked on that, but there we go. All right, now let's get into what's going to happen with the Federal Reserve, because in their latest minutes, these guys don't know what to do. This is amazing. You have some economic professors. You have titans of industry. You have people that have grown up, studied economics. They are on the board of the Federal Reserve. They have a say on the federal funds rate. And they are coming here giving their minutes of their meetings. And I don't get it. They're sitting here like right now. I'm going to bring this up. CNBC. Let's bring this up. They're sitting here talking about this. This is why you have to pay attention, because you can take full advantage. And it's not even hard to take advantage right now, because all you have to do is buy real estate. That's it. But you really want to buy multifamily, or you want to make sure you're going to rent it out. You want it to be passive or some way to have revenue coming in for you. But look at what's happening here. You see it here on the right-hand side. I'm going to open it up, but look at here, upside risk. They see upside risk to inflation. possibly leading to more rate hikes, minutes show. So they said this on the one hand. Then they break out on the other hand, they put things in there saying, oh, well, the minutes also say, let me see if they do it here. They don't. The minutes also say, well, you know, there may not be any more rate hikes. And I'm just like, they're trying to, lucky for you, we do the real here. Again, furthermore, let's start keep your eyes on the prize. The federal funds rate should be higher. That's number one. These guys monkeying around with it, talking about we don't know what we're going to do. They know what they're going to do. Inflation cannot go down any further unless they increase the interest rate. They are now caught between a rock and a hard place. Why the rock? Because bottom line to this, they can't print more money, which they're printing more money. And by printing more money, that causes inflation. And that devalues the currency at the same time. You get a 2-for-1. So now you're putting more money in the money supply and you're devaluing your currency. That increases the prices, which increases the inflation, which they said we don't want to increase in interest rates. They have no choice because they can't stop printing. So this thing that they're doing here about upside risk, the risk is already here. You guys have already done damage. Now, the only way you can stop the damage is by increasing the interest rates. But you know who that hurts? Their buddies. Their buddies. And that hurts the American citizens as well. But it hurts their buddies even more because they leverage themselves. They have loans that are fluctuating. And now they're going, wait a minute, man, we're paying another 2-3% on this $40 million loan. That's incredible what we're paying 1.6 a year, $1.6 million a year for interest only now because you guys have to keep it increasing the interest rates. This is insane. And now you mean we can be paying another 0.25 on top of that? We're going to be close to 1.6. We're not even making that much more profit. And when we started out, it was only 1 million. These guys are like, wait, we're paying 1.6 million now annually. We have a 10-year interest-only note. This is insane. And you can imagine the people that have $100 million borrowed and 80 million and all. I mean, this starts getting out of hand. So that's why they're trying to give two sides out of the coin. But we just need, as an individual, just to stay the course. They have no choice. They have to bet on reducing the interest rates eventually. That's why you need to get your assets when it looks like it may not be that good to buy. Why do you think the wealthy are still out here buying stuff? Assets. They're not sitting back worrying about interest rates. The ones that already bought and had those fluctuation interest rates, that was silly. But they had lower 1.5% interest. Come on. You would take that if somebody said, oh, you know what? It's just an arm. No worries. And you're looking across the board going, oh, yeah, it's only been 1.5 generally or less for the last 10 years. What could go wrong? Right. That's the problem. It did go wrong. Now you're paying a lot higher interest because you chose the adjustable rate mortgage. So again, look at this. We're going to go into this. Let's just go look, because this upside risk thing, watch, they're going to go both ways. I guarantee you. In fact, you got to break out the minutes yourself and go look at them. All right. Here it is. Today, July meeting. In fact, why is this even July meeting talk? We know that. With inflation still well above the committee's longer run, labor market remaining tight, most yada, 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 risk to inflation, which would require further tightening. Okay. Now, let me know what you guys think the Federal Reserve is going to do this month. What do you think? Okay, here's what I talk about, two sides of the fence. Look at this. While some members have said since the meeting, notice since the meeting, that they think the further rate hikes could be unnecessary, the minutes suggested caution. See what I'm saying? On one side of the neck, they're going, oh, yeah, we're going to increase interest rates. On the other side, oh, but after the meeting, yeah, we don't think you need to do anything more. See, this is what I'm talking about. Because they had to figure out, oh, my God, that can melt the stock market. We don't want to melt the stock market, so we better make it kind of inconclusive. This is what I'm talking about. This little 2% thing they're talking about, this 2% objective over time cannot be done, ladies and gentlemen, unless they stop printing money. They're not going to stop printing money because that's going to hurt their billionaire friends, millionaire and billionaire classes, the upper class. And that's also going to hurt everybody else. So they're just like, oh, we'll just save the top 10 percenters, the top 20 percenters in wealth and money. We'll save them. The other 80%, you guys, hey, you're going to have to fend for yourself out here. We don't want you fending for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Like Nestor said on our real estate, we don't want to leave anybody behind. You guys just have to understand what's going to happen. Okay, real estate concern, commercial real estate. Okay, out here buying office buildings and things like that, highly not recommended. All right, just keep that in mind. Look at this too. Risk associated with potential sharp decline in CRE valuations. Commercial real estate, in case anybody doesn't understand what CRE is, commercial real estate valuations are coming down. All right, such as insurance companies that are heavily exposed to CRE. That's right. So again, what was once at one time being perfect for business is not so perfect. But as an individual, you don't have to worry about none of that. That's their problem. And that's what they're trying to save from increasing this interest rate. And that's why they're talking out both sides of their neck. All right. Now, 9% in June 2022 was the inflation rate. It's now down to admittedly their rate of 4.1, 4.2, whatever the case may be. Here it is right here, 4.1%. Excluding food and energy. Okay, they had to take that out to get it down to 4.1. This is what I'm talking about. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Some of you might be going, Eric has mentioned the 1970s over these live streams for the last month. Here it is. However, policymakers worry that the too soon could repeat critical mistakes of the past. Here it is. In the 1970s, central bankers raised rates to combat double-digit inflation, but backed off quickly when prices. This is why they had high inflation. The economy went poo-poo for in the 70s because they did this indecisive crap, knowing full well the same rules apply. Double-digit inflation, keep increasing interest rates. Do not stop. Do not do anything. Don't talk about we shouldn't do it. Just keep doing it until it actually slows down. But just like back then, they did a pause. Then they said we're going to increase. Then they did a pause. And then it just kept going. 75, 76. You could have a 10% savings account in the 70s. 14% mortgage rates. 15% mortgage rates. Car notes, 20%. It was off the charts. Off the charts. You guys have no idea. And these guys are setting this up for the same thing. By doing this crazy nonsense. And they're supposed to be economic majors in high school, college, and they're still making this buffoonery talk. It pisses me off. This is not rocket science. It's based on what they're doing, trying to appease people that they shouldn't be appeasing. They should be trying to figure out how to make the bottom 60% of the wealthiest, how they should be able to make them more money. Because if the bottom 60% of the wealthiest are doing fine, guess what? The top 40% of the wealthiest are doing great because people can afford to pay for their products and services. All right. So that's my little mantra. That's the little talk for tonight, the Federal Reserve. So here we go. Victor Marrero. It looks like, oh, I didn't get this off the screen. Hold on a second. We might get disconnected here. Yeah, we're getting a delay. I never like delays. But anyhow, you guys can't see it on the screen just yet. But Victor Marrero, they should build that into the total price for future buyer. That's what Conor All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it always gets cut off. Okay, they should build that into the total price for future buyers. That's what ConoRock did. My contract never changed. Victor Morel. Oh, in fact, speaking of that, I never added ConoRock to the no contract change. I've never added them, and I do have to give them credit for that. I should add them because every time I talk about Larimar being the only one that has in their contract no price increase. I've never. Well, I might have a ConoRock. Well, I don't have all of the properties. I don't have like Galaxy and Space. I have ConoRock condos. I have their contract. I don't know if they have a clause in there that doesn't say no increase, but we do know nobody at ConoRock has ever said that they received some requests that, oh, guys, by the way, it's going to cost you an extra 10 or 15%. So good point, Victor Morel. Thank you for mentioning that because I'm going to add that to my list too. So I got to give ConoRock credit. They haven't jacked people. They're sticking with the price, and they could easily have because Victor Morel purchased in ConoRock for $231,000. They're selling that same 2-bedroom unit now at ConoRock's Galaxy for $400,000 and up. The same unit. So they didn't come to him and say, "Hey, man, you got to pay an extra 20%." No. They're so far they're not requesting anything additional, and their delivery date has been pushed back. So quite frankly, it costs more than what it was going to cost 4 years ago. So by all rights, they could say, "Hey, you guys, we're going to have to increase this." They could try to recoup something, not do outrageous stuff like how the beach is trying to do, or they could do, "Oh, you guys, how about an 8%?" Most people would say, okay, 8%, fine. But somebody would balk at 20 or 25%. They'd be like, wait. I have all this equity and you want me to give up 25% of it? I don't think so. Even though even 25% more gets us to still under 300 and you're selling them for 4. But hey, so that's right. Thank you for mentioning that. So ConoRock has to get credit. All right. Their projects have to get credit for that as well. And again, there are like rarely any projects that actually stood by their original pre-construction price like their old days. This is something new in this era that developers, whether they're in America, outside of America, developers are not honoring contracts any longer. That's the scariest part. It's kind of like they don't care. They'll tell you, "Oh yeah, you can buy this, something for 80 grand." And then the next thing you know, they're sending you something saying, we want 18%. We want 15%. Like in the case of Ziba at Vistacana. They're telling the people we want 15% more. I'm like, this is insane. That's not how pre-constructions traditionally work. 10% at Laverne Penix and Mr. and Mrs. Cool's property in the Wave. I believe they said 10% more, which is reasonable. But at the same time, that's not how pre-construction used to work. It all changed in the last 4 years. Even in America, it's even the worse, where either party can back out. And generally, when the home prices increased 40, 50%, the builder said, "I'm sorry, here's all your money back." And then they raised the price even higher than what they could sell to the person that was originally signed and made all their payments. They were happy to give them all their money back because the person, even with your 20, 25% increase, was going to pay less than the other person that's coming in to buy now. You're getting an extra $300,000 in Texas. That's what was happening. They're getting an extra like 100 to 200,000 because they said, "Oh, either party could cancel, whether it was the buyer or seller, open-ended on both sides." So if the real estate market dropped, then the actual individuals could have backed out and said, "Nah, I don't want to buy the house because the house isn't worth 400,000 or 350 that I'm buying it for. It's only worth 295 now, so I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to back out." So it works both ways, but the odds of a home going down, unless something catastrophic happens, like, you keep raising interest rates and then you have to buy, that might have something to do with it, but you're still going to win in the long run when they increase interest rates. So there we have it about that. You guys know I've been beating the dead horse with that one. I keep whipping it, going down the track, whipping that So we have you guys in the right perspective in case we have new people here watching. Curtis Davis is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream with the icon next to his name. And he brings the tagline, good evening, SSN family. Cash flow through real estate and dividend stocks, stock appreciation, business. There's the playbook. There you have it. And always be making money, ladies and gentlemen. ABMM. That's how you do it. He's giving you the playbook. And now you want more of that playbook? Go check out his YouTube channel. Chili Davis, Chilly. He's part of the SSN Nation fam. He shows love to you guys as well. No guru zone. No books to peddle, no ebooks to peddle, no courses to buy. He just lets you know what's happening throughout the day financially so you can make financial decisions. Now, yes, Texas sold homes over market price plus 30% profit. Exactly. So now they put it back on the open market and say, hey, we have a house for sale. Multiple offers. I mean, I'm not mad at them. It's in the contract. People read the contract. Their attorney read the contract. It said they could do this. So now people are upset. And I'm just like, it's in the contract. You should never sign a contract where the builder can buy out or where the builder can just say no. You should never do that. You know what's going to happen. Your house is going to be worth more. Just think about this. We talk about pre-construction here for the last 3 years, 4 years almost. And can you imagine me sitting here telling you guys, hey, buy this property for whatever the price is, and there's a clause in the contract that says the builder or developer can cancel the contract at any time. That would be ludicrous. There's no way we'd be talking about them. It'd be like the only thing that would be talked about is don't do it, because you're not going to win. You're not going to be able to reap the rewards. Like, can you imagine, like we're talking about Victor Morrell for $231,000, 2-bedroom condo is now worth $400,000. By the time they build this, that condo is going to be worth $500,000. He has $270,000 roughly equity by the time they finish building this thing. So can you imagine? You're like this. Oh yeah, delivery. I'm sitting pretty. I bought this cheap. I can rent it at this amount. I have passive income. And the next thing you know, you get a letter in the mail talking about, hey, we're going to give you back all the money you put down. See you later. It's in the contract. You read it. You signed it, and walk off. And then have it up on the market. Hey, we have a condo for sale up here for $500,000, $550,000, and it's your condo or your home. You'd be pissed. That's what they're doing out there in Texas, ladies and gentlemen. And not only Texas, in Florida, and lots of places in the United States for pre-construction. It used to be a bastion where you were safe. It's so unaffordable for average Americans to buy a home in prime areas. Oh, definitely. You can forget that, ladies and gentlemen. Even though I say buy a home is a mantra in 2023, its time is almost up. Here we are in August. School started, in a lot of places, they started in August now. But after September, that's when you seriously have to start looking. Prices should have dropped. They haven't. They got to drop significantly. They should drop. I'm still waiting for the 40, 50% drops. It's not happening. Inventory. Nobody's willing to buy or sell their homes because they have 2.9, 2.8, 2.5, 3.4 interest rates. What are you going to do? Buy a new home and have a 7% interest rate? And they cost way more? That makes zero sense. So the only way you make this work is the Federal Reserve increase interest rates. They make you win. Anybody that tries to refi now has to pay more. Anybody who's trying to do buy any new homes, you have to pay more. So what ends up happening is new homes or homes that are on the market for sale have to reduce their price because people can't afford it. And so that's what makes, if my price has to drop 70,000 or 50,000 for somebody to buy, then that means 2 or 3 other houses drop. Next thing you know, you have a run where people are like, okay, I better sell mine before it drops another 10 to 20,000. And so then some people try to be ahead of the curve and drop, instead of the 70,000, they'll drop 90 so they'll get a quicker sale. That's what makes a market move down. But so far, the Federal Reserve hasn't upheld their bargain yet, where they're supposed to increase interest rates. Again, we'll see. All right, let's see. Curtis, 400K. Victor, yes, exactly. It ranges, and I don't know why it ranges, because they have, I upped it to 400, but they had some at 389. Then they had some at 420. So I don't know why the variation, but I'm pretty sure it might have to do with a corner unit or view or something. Who knows? But it's in a range right now. So I just rounded up to 400 for sure, because I'm pretty sure almost they should be at 400 by now anyhow. So, and they're going to be at 500 when they build this thing. Some of the units are going to be 500, guarantee. All right. Yeah, he's winning. There's new credit card, lets you tap into home equity. Yes, that's something they've had a long time ago, but they usually reserved it for people that were in their, in the club, their preferred customers. And it doesn't necessarily mean preferred, but when times are good, they would give out these pseudo cards where people can go down, and because they're just like, hell yeah, use up all of that equity. And you have one of our cards, we're charging you transaction fees. Hell yeah. Use that card, and we're charging you interest on top of that. Yes, use that. That's another reason how they get you tied up. And don't do it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Don't do the credit card thing with your home equity. Don't do that. If you're going to use your home equity, please go buy an asset. And again, here in the SSN Nation, an asset pays you, so a house does not pay you. So you do not count those as an asset. What's an asset is if you took the money and there was a duplex down the street. A duplex is 2 units that are connected. And you said, I want to go buy that duplex. I need $200,000 for a down payment. It already has renters in there who have lived there for 2 years. I'm just using this example. And it brings an X amount of dollars. So I want that property, because now it gives me a passive cash flow of $500 a month. That's what you need to do. Or I've taken out this $200,000. I want to go down here and buy myself a McDonald's franchise, Chick-fil-A franchise, because they're $1 million. There's one already set up for me. That's what you have to do, right? You have to go get something. You're not going to take the $200,000 and do what my friends did in the past, where they would go, how do you like my new car? Oh, I just bought this RV. How do you like my new boat? How do you like my new motorcycle? I'm just like, what are you doing? I got my home equity loan. And so I went over here and, dude, those are liabilities. Did you get an asset of any sort? Were you going to have money coming in? It was my equity. It was only 1.94%. Dude, you just added on to your loan. What are you talking about? I don't get it. And some of you right now may know your neighbors and friends. You guys know in the early 2000s, in the mid 2015s, 14s, 17, 18s, as home prices started rising, and then people show up with new cars, new RVs, new all this, that, and the other, and they borrowed from their home equity line of credit. Now they still owe that money, and they have a higher mortgage payment. But all those toys devalue in price, and the maintenance and upkeep where you store it. Like I told you guys, the boat store. I used to have a boat, 34-foot, nice boat, beautiful, all lovely, until I never used it. And it's at the marina, and I'm paying monthly payments at the marina. Not only that, I'm paying upkeep maintenance because I don't use it that often, to have these guys make sure that it's go down there, the oils, the changes, and everything needs to be updated and kept up and running and all this. I'm paying extra money just for the damn thing sitting in the water. Crazy. So I was like, no, I'm not even down with this. So I was like, I had to get rid of this thing. I'll never own a boat again, because it's silly. It's better just to rent one for the day. It's even better if one of your friends have one, right? I mean, it's not worth it because there's so much upkeep involved. It's ridiculous. Just saying. So when somebody says I use my home equity line of credit and I went down and bought a boat, I bought an RV. I met a guy one time coming back from Las Vegas. I'm driving back from Las Vegas going down to LA. I pulled into this gas station. This guy has the most beautiful RV. It's off the charts. He pulls in. It was so long. I've never seen one like that long. It seemed like He's like, this is brand new. This is whatever, whatever. He says, I got a home equity line of credit. $300,000 for this RV. I couldn't believe when he said it. I was like, serious? He's like, I'm from LA. Yeah, my house went from some crazy number, 1 point something to 2.5, some crazy number. $300,000 for an RV. Oh yeah, it had pop outs, and he was showing off all this stuff. Drive up with your ATVs or motorcycles could go in the back. I mean, it was off the charts. But he got a home equity line of credit for $310,000. It's a bad boy, I have to admit. But the thing is, now you have the problem. Where you're going to park it? Okay, park it. How often you're going to use it over the long run? And now all of a sudden it's eating up. You're borrowed from your home equity. And now it's a liability. Lose in the long run. So don't do it, ladies and gentlemen. Go buy assets. I keep saying this. I'm going to keep doing it all year long because the trap. Here we go. Another trap. 100K equity to blow your financial future. Exactly. The banks are not your friends. Just keep that in mind. The Federal Reserve, they're not really your friends either, but at least you know what they're doing. The banks, the whole design is to make sure they make more money, not you. So that's the whole kicker there. That's the whole kicker. The boat slip fees. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's ridiculous. And the maintenance. You can't just leave it sitting there. You got to use it. And the fact that it's in the water means I got even more maintenance to make sure everything's fine. It's crazy. The sad part of life, people in retirement years, 200K, 400K, no business knowledge, no investment acumen, a waste of cash. Exactly. No way to turn it back on or off because they don't have anything. They don't have businesses, like you just said. They haven't even studied businesses. There's a perfect example. Again, I keep saying Victor Morell's name all the time, but he's a perfect example of a person that said, you know what? I'm going to work, but at the same time, I'm going to have me some assets that brings in passive income. So when I retire and these guys say I have my pension or my retirement money coming in, I also have that passive income money coming in. And he now is going to go travel around the world and create some other, what he loves. He plans on being online, and he's going to do something online and possibly generate some other monetary income coming in. So this is what you want. He's setting himself up all the way around. That is the playbook you need. That's the big boy's playbook. Now, he's probably like, hey, Eric, I'm not a big boy, right? But he is. You don't understand. If I have something that brings in, if all my assets bring in $100,000 per year, passive income, what you guys don't understand is that means that value is worth $1 million. So whether you're going to call me a millionaire, you might say, no, you're not a millionaire. Who cares? I have $100,000 a year coming in. You don't have to call me anything because I set up everything where now I can just go and do whatever I want and enjoy. So he's done everything, put himself in position. So the acumen, he now has time to get the acumen if he doesn't have it already, because he already put in the work that was needed earlier. So some people would say, well, I'm 30, 40, still not too late. Some people would say I'm 50, still not too late. Some people would say I'm 60, still not too late. Some people would say I'm 70. Guess what? It's still not too late. And you guys here know we have stories, right? Some of you don't know. A 70-year-old woman, I can't remember the exact, I wish I had that article, but she's around 73, 74, I believe, in that range, but I just call her 70 now. She realized, I don't have enough money. Her health is fine. If I live another 20 years, if I live to be 90, I got issues because the cost of living is increasing and I don't have that much money. So she took out something like $40,000 and bought Apple stock. This is like 2012 or so. 2011, 2012. Well, in case you don't know, Apple split twice in that time. One time it was, well, actually 3 times, I think. One time it was 3-1, which was the latest one. Another time it was 5-1. So yes, there was 3 times. And another time, I think it was another 2 or 3 to 1. So while she owned it in a short span of like 7 or 8 years, the 40,000, I don't know what it comes out to, but it ends up being millions. Millions. So you can already start doing the number, even if you just break it off into 3 to 1s, right? 3 to 1 is 1, so that's 120. 5 to 1 is another, so now you're at 700, right? And then another 3 to 1. So you're going to be over $1 million. Just like that. She's late 70s, and her whole life changed because she decided, hey, I better learn about something. And she goes, you know what? Apple, Tesla was too, I think. I think it was Apple or Tesla. Apple split too. It was Apple, actually, not Tesla. Apple split twice, so it was Apple. But anyhow, ends up being $1 million. I got to find the article so I can refresh my memory. But nonetheless, a 70-some-year-old woman took her hard-earned money because she realized this $100,000 ain't going to last me if I live another 10 to 15 years because I'm in good health, no problems. So that's why she made the move. And they split 2 times for sure. Apple did. I was thinking it was Tesla, but it was Apple. And it's worth $1 million now. Why did she do this? She wasn't doing it when she was 60 years old. She wasn't doing it when she was 50. So it's never too late, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Maybe I got to find that article so I can refresh my memory. Actually, it's in one of my videos I made like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. All right, Curtis Davis. I got friends that get checks of $50K or $100K, but nothing to invest except more car. Oh, this is crazy, man. That's saddening. They give some of it to loser children. Yeah, I know. Trust fund kids. That's what I call anything like that, right? I didn't know my sister and my brother were trust fund kids. I didn't realize because I didn't never live at home since I was 19 years old. And even then, I never lived at home since I was 18 because I went to college. And so whatever was going on, I never stayed at home except for literally 6 months after over 18. And then I left to Cali to go to college out here. And then never went back home and never really paid attention to what my parents would do, you know. And then now that I've been staying where my brother and sister and my family lives, and I'm hearing stories, you know, where my parents were giving them thousands of dollars. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is, it's kind of weird when, you know, you hear like $50,000. You hear like, oh, a credit card of $30,000 and bought this so they can start a business for $100,000. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, for real? You mean my brother and sister, they're like trust fund kids. This is insane. I was like, I didn't realize they were trust fund kids. And by no means are my parents rich either. That's the funny thing, right? But they did the right thing. 2 retirement monies, not 1, but 2 investment properties. So they had the assets long ago. Those assets were paying them. So it's just like right now. Imagine if you had a house that you bought 20 years ago, and that house was 200. No, it wouldn't have been at that. Yeah, 200,000. And your mortgage is like $600, $700 a month. In the last 10 years, you could have rented out that house for over $2,000 per month. And now in the last 5 years, it could be $3,000 a month. Well, that's the kicker. They were able to buy homes at $40,000, right? $40,000, $70,000. And you rent those out for $1,000. Your mortgage payment is like $200. I can't remember what they told me, like $200 a month or something crazy, right? Something real crazy. They're renting that stuff out for $1,500, $1,800 a month. That's $1,600 a month. That's $20,000 almost a year. You do that 2 or 3 times, that is $40,000, $50,000 annually of passive income. That's not bad, right? So it didn't take any geniuses to do it. It just took some effort. They said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy this. This stuff is so cheap. I got to do this. I was just like, but I didn't know what they were doing with the money. Yeah, it's not my choice to decide, nor do I care. But when I come home, I find out, wait a minute, what do you mean you were spending this much for this, that much for that? I mean, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm still in shock by it, quite frankly. But he reminded me of, this is what parents do, and they're allowed to do it. Parents are allowed to spend their money and give it to their children however they want to do it. But the problem with that is the kids never learn how to fend for themselves. So they don't even have the value of funds. They look at money a whole different way because they know they always have a bailout. And that's just what millionaires do. That's why they can run businesses however they want, because then they know that generally the government's going to bail their business out. Right? So same thing. But anyhow, enough of that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a little break right here, right now, because you guys know we got to do a little love. Oh, and by the way, I never heard back from my man, Rhett Butler, yet. I might have to call him because he did say he was going to come on. So we'll see if I can get him on. He started a business. I want to get an update on it. It was like, I don't know how long ago, but we'll get an update on it. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we got to have SSN Lifestyle because this is what you should be thinking about, ladies and gentlemen. Getting around, having a little bit of fun. And when we come back, I'll give a story. That same friend that told me that his house interest rate was 2.95. He's worked 2 jobs, retirement jobs. So that's 20 years twice. And now he started saying, you know what? I'm traveling around. I'm loving it. I said, yeah, because you did the right thing. He also had property that he rented out. Same thing, real estate property he rented out. So we'll talk about that in a second, ladies and gentlemen, because that's how the Federal Reserve is going to help you right now, especially when you have assets and you have control of an asset. Then it's real estate and they start reducing the interest rates. Your value goes up, which now unlocks free money that you're going to be able to use to buy more assets. And those assets pay you, and they're going to pay your home equity line of credit. They're going to pay your mortgage. So now where you live turns into not a liability any longer, but your assets are paying for that. And that turns out to be the win-win, and you can go anywhere in the world that you want to go. All right, here we go.
Come on, come on.
Gentlemen, there you go. Got to have a little fun during your lifetime. Don't wait, because you never know what the future is going to hold. That's the point. All right. Sooner than later. All right, let's go. Let's see. Yes, get assets, property, stock, small business. There you go. There you go. That's it exactly. That's the playbook. That's how the Federal Reserve helps you the most, because you put yourself in position. So the simplest thing right now is real estate. That's not always the case. Once we go to the roaring 20s, home prices increase and you pull the trigger and say, hey, you know what? My equity went up and I tap into it and I use it to buy assets. What else is there to do at that point? Well, hopefully you bought some stocks, because when they reduce the interest rate, stock market generally goes up as well, because people are able to borrow money and then buy stocks. Corporations, hedge funds are able to borrow money against their assets under management and buy stocks. So therefore, the stock markets rise. They go hand in hand. You win twice. Stocks, real estate. So that's another feature where the Federal Reserve helps you. But if you do nothing, then you're going to fall into the Federal Reserve hurts you category more than you're going to fall in the helps you category. Because if you have debt, just like right now, you're holding debt, that hurts you. It keeps going. Nothing's going to stop, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Nothing's going to stop at all. Okay. So here we go. We're going to probably wrap this up a little bit tonight, a little bit earlier than normal. I've been doing a lot of things lately. We have to make a huge comeback for when the Federal Reserve helps us. There's some deal that went down recently that it could be significant. If the people want to buy it, it's going to be significant. I've been getting calls for people to buy assets from me. It's crazy. They're trying to lowball, and I'm like, I'm sorry. No, Federal Reserve is going to help me. It's real estate. Federal Reserve is going to help me. I'm just going to hold on to it. I don't really care what your offer is, because whatever it is not enough. Plus, I wasn't selling it anyhow. And I'm just telling you, up the street, they said 50-some thousand. It's only one lot. I have two. So you're going to give me what? 50,000 for both? No, man. We're thinking like 22 grand. I'm like, okay, then there ain't nothing to talk about then. I'm not going to sell it at all. I was like, that's crazy, because in about a year or so, Federal Reserve is going to be helping me. I don't have to worry. It's going to it'll go up in price, because housing prices are going to go up. So all I got to do is just sit back. I'll wait a year or 2 years. It'll be worth 3 times the amount that you guys are talking about in about a year. And in 3 years, it'll be worth double what that 50-some. It's going to be worth like 100 G's. And I don't have to wait but 2 or 3 years for that. So why am I going to give it to you for less, a fourth of that price? That's ridiculous. So just think of it that way. Get assets, ladies and gentlemen, all right? While you can, before the explosion. Okay. Now, Curtis Davis has mentioned that the assets, the property, the stocks, and small business, and I have mentioned it already, but go over to Chili Davis. That's his YouTube channel. And subscribe. Click the all notification bell. Chili's with 2 L, CHILLY Davis. Go show some love there, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to talk too much more tonight, because I have been doing we did a 4-hour one the other night, which got kind of wild. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, quite frankly. All right. Now, I am going to do one thing before I go, because we were talking about McCall Hills. I am going to show the video that McCall Hills has. I think I can pull this up. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'll get that video. So we'll run the McCall Hills so people will see what it is. Okay, that canceled. We'll do McCall Hills. Is this it? Earlier this week. I don't know if this is it. Hold on a second. I just don't want to open anything. I'm hoping this is it. I'll let you know in a second. All right. Let's see. Oh, never mind. Hold on. I was looking in my downloads folder, so I'm just letting you guys know. But we'll get to the McCall Hills here in a second, where I can pull this up. Okay, McCall Hills. Let's see if we have this video. In McCall, oh, well, this will be McCall Gardens. Sorry. You guys can check this out. This is the condos that start at 50,000. It's kind of crazy. 1-bedroom condo, 50 G's. Where is it? Well, that was short. And oh, by the way, at Larimar Resort, if you missed your 10% off or 7% off, it expired yesterday. There's going to be some new updates on Larimar coming up. They just came back from Colombia today. There's supposed to be some new updates. I want to know about that model on the Ridge. I know they haven't started it. So now I get to pick on Danny when he comes. I hope he's not scared to come back again, because I'm going to pick on him when he comes back. And he's on the development team for Larimar City and Resort. When he said, "Oh yeah, we're going to start doing something in July, the model, we're going to have a model," I was like, it's not going to happen, man. Nobody's ever done a model in less than 6 months. So don't mess with us here. We know. Here it is, August 16th, and I don't think there's a model out there. So they're not going to have one in August either. So that'll be 2 months. And September comes around, and if they haven't started any foundation or anything in September, it won't be September either. It's going to fall along the same lines as all the rest. Nobody's ever done one before 6 months. So we'll see if they are going to be the wonder kids or something that can do it in 2 or 3. But so far, there's no signs of life that way. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of this conversation tonight. I didn't get much feedback, so I appreciate the feedback that we did get, the comments in the chat room and the motivation that some people gave and information that a lot of people gave. I appreciate that greatly. You know, I love you guys a lot. I appreciate your support over all these years. It means a lot to me. It keeps me actually going. And what can I say? We'll be back on Friday night live stream at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you don't want to miss that. We'll have a different topic, different conversation, but we know we're going to be talking about that red light business that can help heal you, help you feel better without penetrating your body from an invasion such as needles, picking, doing any pricking or anything like that, or doing anything. So you got to keep that in mind. And don't forget, in some parts of the world, including the United States, coffee is actually good for you in moderation. And so therefore you have to go to Beachfront Java, show some love. They come in vacuum sealed packs with Ziplocs on them to make sure your whole beans or your fine ground or your drip ground coffee is fresh. Keurig cups, fresh. Why not get it from our own Professor Auntie Val? Go to beachfrontjava.com and also mention SSN Nation, SSN Family, SSN Lifestyle, SSN in the promo code, or send an email after you make your first order, because every order thereafter is 10% off for life. And you know what else? It's free shipping in the United States. So go show some love. And teas coming up end of year. There's also merch. So go show some love. Show some love to our own Professor Auntie Val and family. And with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. You know it's hard out here. And if you haven't gotten the memo yet, inflation is not going away. Even if the Federal Reserve tells you inflation is 2%, it's not. So therefore, you always are going to have to make more money the next day than you made the day before, because the cost of living is not going to stop going up. Every day it's going up, whether you want to call it 0.001%, 0.1%, 1%, it's going up every day. And then you accumulate that over 365-day period. All of a sudden things are like, wait, did it really go up 12% this year? Did it really go up 10% this year? It's going up. So if you're not prepared to get assets now, then it's going to be too late later when the roaring 20s happen, because things are going to be priced way out of reach. If they're not already, if you think this is out of reach right now, watch what happens when they start reducing interest rates. And you don't want to be caught in this one, because this one's going to catch up. A large percentage of the population is already on the 60% of it is living paycheck to paycheck. What's going to happen if 70% is living paycheck to paycheck? Add another 30 million people living paycheck to paycheck. That means less buying, less profits for corporations. Corporations are going to be going out of business, laying off more people. There's a domino effect. You want to make sure that you are somewhat immune, and you also want to think about investing abroad. We talk about DR. It could be any friendly nation that does not have a banking agreement with the United States. I'm just messing with you. All right, that's my personal thing. But just look around. the world and figure out your best alternatives where you can actually maybe have businesses, where you can actually maybe get some assets, which has nothing to do with the American or United States system, whatever the inflation is or anything. But be careful. The other country might have inflationary numbers as well. So you have to look at both sides of the fence. But if it's cheaper, let's just put it this way. If it costs me $100 to buy groceries and inflation is 10%, that means now I got to pay 110. That's a huge difference than if it cost me the $30 for groceries and 10%. Now that's an extra $3. See, so it's you have to think though, if it cost of living is lower, but inflation is almost on par with the US, then actually your money goes further with the lower cost purchase price. So that's why a lot of expats are all over the world, because of that exact same model, right? So with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, come along for the ride on Friday night and get some business information from the Red Light. Plus, we're going to be talking about a little bit more about real estate, no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry, pre-construction ideas. We're going to give updates from Macau, have it pinpoint where everything is in Macau Beach area, that beach club, and where Macau Hills and all gardens are and all that. We'll have specific locations. We're going to have updates on Larimar City and Resort. They have updates. This is going to be awesome. I want updates. So we're going to find out a whole bunch of things. But just remember, you can actually do this, ladies and gentlemen, especially when there's no barriers to entry. But sooner or later, there will be barriers to entry. So get in now and stay tuned. And with all that said, make sure you stay safe. Keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.